Okay, this is how to rig for the drop shot. What I have is a 6-foot all-star rod, and if you can read that, it's a little bit heavier than a crappie rod. It's rated for line 8 to 17 pound test. And we have just a typical crappie sized, slightly larger maybe, spinning reel. Okay, first thing I do is I string it up with a braid. I like a braid because this is 4-pound diameter. It'll sink really fast. This is a sinking braid, the 832 by Suffix. And I love this bright green color because you can see any twitch in your line. Okay, this is 10 brown braid. If you see here, it's 150 yards. What I do is I take and stretch out, get me half that, 75 yards, and I cut it in two. Then before I put the braid on there, I put a backing of some inexpensive monofilament to where the braid will come up to the top of the spool just like you want it. Okay, once we got the braid on there, first thing I'm going to do is put my little swivel on there. These are my favorite swivel. These are made by SPRO. This tiny little swivel is a 30-pound test swivel, and it's very lightweight. And if you have a heavy swivel, it's going to give you problems in the end. And this is small enough it will go inside the eye on the end of your rod. Okay, once we've got our swivel, we're just going to tie that on there to the braid first. Give it a test and we'll trim that off. You do want to make sure your braid is pulled down pretty tight. It can slip. I use like 6 wraps. You just want to be careful that it doesn't slip on you. Once we have the little swivel on there, next step is going to be to get some fluorocarbon. You want something that's pretty invisible in the water. I typically take about 5 feet. 4 to 5 feet. What we have here is 10. We put 10-pound braid on there, so for this setup I usually use 6, 8, or 10-pound fluorocarbon. Simple step here. Put the fluorocarbon leader on the other end of the swivel. Give it a little test. Trim off the tag end. Okay, now we have the tiny little swivel and the fluorocarbon attached. We have 4 or 5 feet of fluorocarbon. The reason for the swivel is you can get a lot of twist with that little worm on there. When you reel it up off the bottom, it'll just twist, twist, twist. We have 2 different kinds of hooks that I would typically use. The typical little drop shot hook. I think this is a number 1, and a weedless hook for if you're going to be fishing around any brush. If it's very heavy, you're going to need that. Next, we come through the hook from the top of the eye. And we got to bring 18 inches or 2 foot before you start your wrap. Okay, I'm using the improved clinch knot. Some people like to use a Palomar. Pull it down just like normal. So we got to pull down. Now we take the tag in, which I have about 18 inches maybe here. And that loose tag end is threaded back through the eye. And pull it down. Now we'll see that the tag end down through there, the hook tends to stand out. And that's the easy. For weight, I tend to use these bass casting sinkers, mainly because they're a lot cheaper than the fancy drop shot. And we're just at the end of the line below the hook. We tie that sinker on. And that's it. We got the weight. Line comes down about 18 inches. We got their hook standing out really nice. Come on down a couple of 3 feet, and there's the little swivel attached to the suffix braid.